This is your first ever podcast.
It's my first ever podcast, yeah.
So we should just make this like a conversation that just goes everywhere.
Cool.
Because we've been speaking about music for 15 something years now.
Yeah.
Worked together. Times that we haven't worked together. Always spoken.
Yeah.
Now we're approaching 20 years of releasing music as an independent producer, which is crazy as a young man.
Yeah.
In this thing. What is the current setup of Swindle, the producer, musician, artist, person? Like, what does it take to operate as Swindle?
Sometimes I feel like I'm just doing the same thing. Like I watch like the Beat This video and I'm like, yeah, I still do that. Like I still make beats in 10 minutes, sometimes just for practice. I still make 3 beats a day or 5 beats a day when I've got the time. But how I'm applying it has changed. So currently I'm working on TV and film composition and writing underscore for, drama series and movies. Also producing for artists. I've been doing like exec production, producing albums for people like Koji Radical and Nux. But ultimately the core is like, it's the same thing at its core. And I guess it's like, can I wake up in the morning and just get straight to making music and see where it leads me? Can I still feel creatively satisfied? Am I still experimenting? And yeah, I just follow whatever path I'm on until that thing starts to run out, that satisfaction starts to reduce, then I'll just look for something or somewhere else to kind of apply that same energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And in terms of like the skills that you're learning, I think like, when you call yourself like a producer, it can be very vague. Like what, especially in the last like say 5 years, post DJ.
Yeah.
Like what are the things that you've been learning that have like elevated your production or expanded your kind of approach to producing music?
So much. I've had to do so much learning. And I say to people, it's like, we learn on the job. Like we got better in public, So all the time I've been trying to understand music theory better. That journey started probably about 10 years ago, realizing just how much I didn't know and how much there was to learn. Finding mentors in people, out of yourself, making a mentor out of you, make a mentor out of your friends, I just think is a big cheat code. Like there's always something to learn from someone. I made mentors out of Mala. I made mentors just all along the way, been doing that. And then most recently, just in terms of like technical ability, learning how to write to picture, how to write to a film, and how to write in a way that is like really serving the story that is happening in the show or the film that I'm working on at that time. Like that's taken a whole new like approach, and I can use that in the studio. Most recently, like Koji's album was really using some of those, especially in the skits and the storytelling and trying to like support a narrative. It's something I picked up from TV.
What was the specifics? Like, did you go and like do a course? Like, what did you go and like study particular composers and be like, okay, I'm hitting these limits technically or knowledge wise. Okay, these are the people or the things I went to. Like, can you expand on that?
Yeah, so like I've been doing courses the whole time. I do courses, I do audiobooks, I do all this kind of learning outside of the studio. It's like open jazz, like just little bits. It doesn't have to be anything too deep, but anytime I start to run out of inspiration, the first thing I do is go and learn something. Like I just think there's not such thing as writer's block. I just think it's when you get there, it's time to just maybe learn something new. Because the minute you do, you go back in the studio and you just use it, It's hard to have writer's block if you've just learned a bunch of new chords or voicings or whatever. But then for TV and film specifically, when I was first introduced to Hamish Duff, who's my TV and film agent, I asked him to put me on jobs with other composers who are more established than me. And I didn't credit it as Swindle. So actually, the first project or two that I worked on TV and film, I kind of did privately. And I went there with the attitude of, like, I'm the student in the room. Like, I'm here to learn. So I did that, learnt my chops. And then it wasn't until I did Champion that I credited that as Swindle. And that became the first thing that I did for TV and film publicly. And even that was a collaboration with a guy called Paul Saunderson, who has like an incredible catalogue of TV and film soundtracks that he's done over the years. and being able to work with him, just picking up the tricks, man, the tricks of the trade.
So what begun the like transition but in addition to like making records? Like when I met you, you were making grime instrumentals or instrumentals for MCs.
Yeah. Or vocal mixtapes, actually.
Vocal mixtapes, yeah.
Because don't forget, you actually suggested that I make instrumentals.
Yeah, I mean, you already made the instrumentals.
I made instrumentals, but I was making vocal tracks and then releasing the instrumentals after. You said, make the instrumental to be the tune.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the beginning of that. And the first one was Air Miles.
Okay.
So that transition is natural in a lot of ways, I think.
But do you remember the I guess, giving people a shape of the industry or the landscape at that time?
Yeah.
So if you're a producer in grime or like kind of like British music, it was the mixtape era, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
kind of making so like maybe things would get played on One Extra, on Logan's show on Kiss, but maybe put on YouTube, some digital downloads for free, and CDs, So it was this kind of weird pocket of time where it was hard to like track where the music was going, who was listening, and all this kind of stuff, and it was really hard for producers to really get paid and kind of get build their own name, basically.
Yeah.
So I think when we met, it was like, oh, let's make stars of the producers in the same way like dubstep had it. Yeah. That was the kind of idea. And like maybe like when people are looking back now, they're like, I thought it was always like that for people maybe in our corner. So do you remember like what, I guess that transition was like into you being more at the forefront of your own music compared to like maybe making music just strictly for other people?
My first release is my own mixtape. It's the 140 mixtape, and that featured artists. So I was lucky in this way that I started there, like bringing people into my world and featuring artists. That was my first outputs, was my tunes featuring artists. And then when it was time to make that transition, my first reference was drum and bass DJs, man. And I grew up on drum and bass. I love One Nation tape packs. Yeah. And that was like my main source of inspiration when it was like, okay, I'm going to be a producer and put out my own records. We're doing vinyls with this DJing. Yeah. I only ever DJ drum and bass before. And it was when I was, 13, 14, 15. So it was kind of just like going back. And then I guess, like I said to someone just yesterday, a kid half our age, I was like, when we started, the main objection or the top of the game was 500 CDs sold, a video on Channel U, and a playlist on One Extra. Like that was the top of the game. It wasn't even monetary. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That was where it is. And the goalposts have moved a lot, over the years. And someone who's the same age I was then now, their goal might be #1 single or £1 million deal or, 100%. World tour. Whereas there was no one in front of us that had done that, doing what we do. So the expectations just weren't there. But I think actually that played to our strengths because we had a space to experiment. We weren't sure who was watching, so it didn't matter. We were just kind of expressing ourselves in whatever way we saw fit. And I think we really benefited from that, actually.
Yeah, we had maybe like a bit of incubation kind of thing.
Yeah.
And putting out things and kind of maybe like not even having live feedback at the time. Like when we put out things, it would take a while for things to kind of settle in. It was never like upload, if something kind of blow up.
Yeah.
The first, I guess, wave of us working together, we got to travel abroad as well. So that added a layer of like meeting other people from different places. Totally. Like what did that do for you as a person?
Just open up my mind, man. Like it took me out of the world that I knew, and it blew my mind. Like the first, I followed you guys to that Paradiso Room 2 in Amsterdam. Played on my few CDs in a bag for €8, and it blew my mind. I hadn't been in raves before. I'd been in clubs before. I'd been to Escapade in Croydon, and I'd been to Liquid in Sutton.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I'm in this massive room with, people just going crazy. Joker's there, murking. I've known him for a while, and I'm just like, wow, this is what I always imagined those One Nation tape packs look like, but I'd only ever heard them.
And there was no video footage of this stuff happening at the time as well.
No.
So when we were coming into something, we were actually seeing it for the first time.
Yeah.
there wasn't like viral video clips
No.
or anything like that.
No.
You had to kind of be there and be in it.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. Open up my mind. And then just meeting people from around the world. And not just meeting people around the world, but meeting people around the world because of a common interest, because of the music. It's just like a fast track to finding people you have something in common with on the other side of the planet. And that's something we never took for granted. We kind of like, but some of those relationships I still have now. I spoke to Nicole, who runs Submission in Denver last week, you know, people in Japan, people in New Zealand, all these places. It's like, now those relationships are 10, 15, some of them even longer.
What did DJing do for your production?
Help me with my mix downs. Those they could always still do for a little bit of work. Yeah, and DJing taught me, like, I used to geek out on like, what are the things that connects all these different genres that I like, you know? So what could I play next to each other? And I know there's a little link in there. It might be a lyric, it might be a bass line, it might be rhythm, but there's a way to play like a dub song in the middle of a grime set. When I say dub, I mean like reggae dub.
Yeah.
There's a way to play Wu-Tang in the dance. There is. You just got to find the link. Big up Spooky, because his tunes help link to a lot of different places, yeah. And then, yeah, like learning the things, I'm like, some things people dance to even if they don't know it. I did this one show in a town called Zwolle in Holland. I never went back. It's quite a small town. And I played, I can't remember if it was 138 Trek or Chopper. And in my mind, everyone in the world knows these songs. And they didn't. And I was like, okay, what are the tunes that go off regardless of people know it or not? And then that became like a little obsession. And in fact, that helped me with Do the Jazz.
Yeah. It's like the track ID, when people ask a track ID, and I'd like reply like Pulse X, or things that seemed obvious to us, right?
Yeah.
And you realize that, okay, yeah, these things are obvious to us, but new to people constantly. So I think like when we used to travel DJing, we kind of like played similar music everywhere to introduce people. Like we were introducing people to the music for the first time for the most part, right?
Yeah.
And then you have this balance as like you're presenting your own music as well.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like, okay, this is a Swindle set based around your music.
Yeah.
Then your taste, and then kind of representing this place where you came from. Yeah. And then you kind of go on to like make music that kind of reflects that as well.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Right? Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so the first like I guess bigger thing that we worked on together was like Peace, Love and Music.
Yeah.
That felt like, I guess, an encapsulation of that period of time. It's been like 2013 to like 2015.
Yeah.
Maybe even earlier.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like world traveling bass music. I don't really like that term.
Yeah.
What I guess it was grime.
I still don't have a name. I just like the other day I just kind of put the question out there. Yeah. I was like, was it dubstep? Was it funk? Was it grime? But like,
all of
was
them.
it a bit? Yeah, and like I say, we had the space to experiment, man. And it doesn't matter what it was called now. It just was.
Yeah. Do you think bad bass music was a bad name or is a bad name? Like, do you think that was even a useful?
Depends how it's used.
Okay. Can you see how that was ever used positively for what we did?
Yeah, when there was places called Bass Fest and all that.
Okay.
Yeah. And, you know, the music was about bass. In electronic music, it did seem to like just kind of separate black people from the rest of dance music a little bit sometimes, you know, kind of, but not always. And I never had a problem. My music's been called so much different genres. Never really had a massive problem with what anyone calls it, because it never really fit anything perfectly anyway. It's always a bit of everything.
I guess when you get to have moments where you're like in something really hardcore, like say when you're releasing a record on Deep Medi, then it's like it sits in the dubstep world.
But it was still called Long Live the Jazz.
Fine, yeah, true.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was kind of the point. It maybe even in that title, and just going in that context, jazz just meant freedom. Okay. You know, musical freedom.
Do you think like every maybe genre kind of does represent at the beginning? Like even grime was that, right? It was like this kind of like idea that you could do something new and try something, and then I guess it forms some sort of identity, and then it doesn't deviate from that too much. Yeah. And then that's when people start to veer off and go different ways, right?
Yeah.
Because I guess in this journey, like you would have witnessed the kind of rise and or the ebbs and flows of scenes and musics and styles. a few months ago, you posted about when people call scenes dead, and I've asked other DJs about this. Like, what happens to DJs, to producers, like the people that are participating in it, when people talk about like drill being dead or grime being dead or funky being dead and all these kind of things? Like, what does that feel like?
It depends who you are in that moment. I was thinking about this the other day, and because like I think I'm most associated with jazz, grime, and dubstep, and they're the ones that have got the deepest allegations of being dead. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Out of all, like, jazz is dead is a thing, dubstep is dead is a thing, grime is dead is a thing. But you know, the fact that we're here is just kind of proof that it isn't. After so many years of hearing that, people said that in 2009 or 10 about grime, just like before Air Miles, but which has kind of led us to make some of those more experimental music. But people said that before That's Not Me, before Stormzy, before German Whip. Like, it's actually crazy when you deep it now that happens. I think it's a very UK thing to do, to be honest. I think there's a culture here of like building something up only to destroy it and find something new again. There's an addiction to newness. I wonder if it's kind of driven by press or if it's something maybe more embedded in our culture here. But now it almost feels like a good omen that something's good's coming. You know,
in like a new something new.
Well, or either that or that genres are gonna pop up again, or you know, come back stronger. I haven't seen anyone say this is dead, and it actually is. Yeah,
okay. I guess because you sit in the middle of all of these three things, you have to be that person that speaks people through the moments when that happens, right? So when someone is saying jazz is dead or dubstep is dead, and you can maybe pivot to something else that you're doing, or just your curiosity leads you elsewhere. You still are friends with the people that are participating in that thing. So like, what are some of the words maybe of encouragement, or like the things that you say to the people that you're in the studio with, like to get them through? Because you're an inspiring guy, man. Like when you're in the studio, you're kind of pulling people along with you, no matter what's going on in their kind of personal or work situation.
Everything just comes back to the art, man. And that's what we all want to just express art. So I just encourage people to just like be themselves and express their art. There's an importance to it. And whatever's going on, if you're not doing that, you just won't be satisfied. It doesn't matter how hard it does matter how hard it is, but when you're creating from like a pure place and you're heard and you're able to express your ideas in the rawest form, then as an artist, that's just satisfying. So, and also I just like to make people smile, man. That's really a big part of it. You know, I do it in the studio, but I do it outside, man. I go to the shopper, I say hello to the lady behind the counter, I make sure she smiles, man, before I leave. I'm just a bit like that.
And then like bringing it back to, I guess, like the way you've put together your music. So we've done, I guess, like Peace Love and Music and that wave. Then there was like another step up in terms of production and effort, resources, money, when thinking about presenting music live and the kind of music that built around that. Like what kind of even inspired that and the pivot away from, or again, in addition to DJing? Like what made you want to present the music live?
I guess it's always been there. Going back to the Beat This video, there's an interview at the end, and it's really eerie when I watch it back, and I almost speak the future. And I'm like, I say, if I could play the trumpet, I would. Like one day, I think I would just have that with me. No, and then Theo, who's interviewing me, is kind of like, and I'm like, no, really. Like, if I could have live musicians involved in this, I would. And like 2 years later, that's exactly what was happening. So, like my inspirations are like the greatest producers of ever, you know. I'm looking at Berry Gordy, I'm looking at Nile Rodgers, I'm looking at Quincy Jones. And all the best, and for live shows, I'm looking at Parliament and I'm looking at Prince. So my understanding of music has always meant that it arrives in a live format eventually anyway. When I was releasing on Deep Medi, Mala, who runs Deep Medi, was releasing his album on Brownswood. And he was putting together his first live show and he asked me to play keys on it. I probably wasn't ready for that, to be honest with you, because I learned playing along to records that I like, and I played just for my own records. So I wouldn't say I'm a pianist or a keys player like that. But he took me on the road anyway, and seeing that setup and playing on those stages like inspired me to do my own thing. So the first one we did, I guess, was for the launch of Long Live the Jazz at Fire in Vauxhall.
Yeah, we were stuck in between, so we were still doing that club show, but live.
Yeah,
we should have been like an early evening thing, like a concert.
But that wasn't the culture that we was coming from, and I'm glad that we did it the way that we did it, actually, because that music lived in the dance, and we did live shows in Fabric.
Yeah, wow, yeah, we did.
Yeah, I brought my dad on stage at Fabric.
Yeah, that was sick.
Yeah, and it wasn't 6 in the afternoon. It was
like
midnight,
1
in the morning.
Yeah, you did live before EZ.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Swindle live, EZ, Fabric 1-1.
Yeah.
That's where this music lived. I think, like, sometimes you hear music and you're like, that's cool. And then you hear it in the environment it was created for and you're like, I get it now.
Yeah.
And it separated us from everything else,
Mm.
Yeah.
And then starting there, so I guess that was like the first generation of live. Then there was like, I guess, this bigger live show with the strings.
Yep.
And all that kind of stuff for No More Normal.
Yeah.
Was that the biggest learning jump that you've done as a producer? You think that's like the hardest curve? Because that, like, the music maybe isn't that different, but the production levels is like a lot higher. And it was a lot more expensive to get that done.
It was, yeah. But that learning process was Peace, Love and Music.
Okay.
Yeah. So what happened with Peace and Love and Music is that before I was a international touring DJ, I was in my mum's basement making 5 beats a day.
Yeah. Right. And this is not like a theoretical mum's basement. It was your actual mum's basement.
It was actually my mum's basement. And actually 5 beats a day. I looked the other day. I made 1,052 beats in the year 2011.
Wow.
I think I did the maths. I can't do it off my head. I think it averages about 3 a day.
Yeah.
And on my own, like Forest Funk, like I played everything on it. So then when I went on tour, I started to miss writing. So I started to go, whilst I'm in South Africa, can we go studio? I'll change my flight. Whilst I'm in the Philippines, is there any musicians that I can work with? And then China, same thing, all these different places. And then I was thrown into these environments where I was recording instruments that some I had never seen before. I've recorded the guzheng in China and this percussion in Brazil, and I had no experience with it. So I had to learn on the job. And this is the more like traditional production techniques of the people that I admire. So that album kind of taught me all those techniques. It's also the first album that we had strings on. It's just a small quartet. Neil Waters was playing trumpet in the live show and he said he would arrange the strings for me. I had the idea already. And then that became that. And then once kind of graduating Peace, Love and Music, I had the qualification to go and make No More Normal.
Okay. And then I guess taking that was 2019. There was this break in 2020, and one of the things that you did, everyone had their own kind of battles going on through that period of time. You took a bunch of artists to this studio, Real World.
Yeah.
Which is a residential spot. It's one of the most famous studios in the UK.
Yeah.
Can you give a description of what happened? I wasn't there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But give us an insight into what that felt like in June 2020, taking a bunch of artists into a kind of residential space where people would have been cut off from the rest of the world for 3 months.
It's really hard to put into words, but we were so isolated during that lockdown. It all feels like a kind of this weird memory. I don't remember how long it was, but the conversations I was having at that time, I was like, are we creating? It's like, no, not really. Like everyone's kind of not really. At the beginning it was right, make loads of beats. And then after 2.5 months, you're kind of like, yeah, I'm just gonna sit down. Mm-hmm. So those are the people that I took with me. This was all like relationships. The only person who I hadn't worked with before, I think, was Loyal Kana. And honestly, that album is just a documentation of our healing. Like, we wrote that record in 7 days. You know, every song was recorded in that room during that time with the people there. Everyone watched each other's songs come together. People cried. You know what I'm saying? People laughed for the first time. People arrived and didn't know whether to hug or not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And that went, and it's not just the artists, not just me, the string players. We had strings come in on the last day, you know, all the musicians. Like, and I listen back to the album and I can hear it, man. I can hear it in those notes. I'm like, I can hear like pain, but joy as well. And that's where music just gets special, in this place where you're playing from a place of pain and it's giving you joy.
Yeah.
That's what the album sounds like to me.
That's a true one of one, because you get all of this different talent that has like gone on to do like mad stuff since.
Yeah.
I mean, they were on that trajectory already, but like, say, there's these characters like there's Joy Crooks, Nux, Koji Radical, just alone.
Yeah.
And then Lil Kana, like these people had like the last 5 years of just like completely blown up massively.
Yeah.
And then you just catch them all together in 1 week, just making rhythms together.
Yeah.
And you probably won't be able to get them in a room again like that again.
Yeah.
It's really special.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how that happened, to be honest with you, but it did. And I'm very, 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 very proud of that record.
How do we get you back to Swindle, the producer? Why? I miss you. Why haven't we had any rhythms since?
What, like rhythms? Or
everything?
Everything?
Yeah.
Why have we had
like, you've obviously been making music for other people.
Yeah.
Doing film and television.
No.
Now, when can we get another Swindle music, whatever shape that takes?
I do think we're heading there. I mean, the why is a big question. I don't know how real do you want me to be, man? I love that record. I love that record, and I love everyone involved in that record. But putting out something like that, you know, it comes with, like, it's heavy, man. You know, cost a lot of money as well. I paid for that all myself. You know, I spent tens of thousands on taking everyone to real world, and then the process of actually like releasing it, and some of the obstacles that were put in front of me. Some actually, which I found out were put there years later. Makes it hard to just get back up and do it again. That's really the truth. Yeah,
like there's a administrative pain to having all this kind of different talent on the record in terms of dates. Like, everyone's got their own plans of what way they want to release music and all this kind of stuff, right?
And being 2020 into 2021, like, we didn't tour it.
Yeah,
we didn't do this. We've never played that music live.
Yeah,
we played some of those songs at a Munya show at Roundhouse recently for the first time, but there was no launch party. Because couldn't. Yeah, those times, and to like start investing emotionally and financially into a live show just felt like a massive risk.
Yeah,
because it's like, are we just going to be in another lockdown soon, or are the clubs even going to open up again when we go back outside? So it just felt massively risky in this way. So yeah, I think that plays a big part in it also.
And then to go again, it's like having another idea, another direction, another kind of thing to feed off.
Because you will know everything comes from an idea, and I don't start with the music. I start with the idea. Mm-hmm. I knew I was going to make No More Normal before I made it. Same like Mood Swings. I don't know if you remember conversations we had at the phone around Mood Swings, and then that happening and it being a moment. Long Live the Jazz. The same thing I was saying. Long Live the Jazz for a good year before I made that record. Peace, Love and Music. There was a reason, and I'm starting to feel like the reason again. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You keep using this word family.
Yeah.
And I know like there's two strands to this. I feel like there is the actual family that I see every day on the internet.
Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful to see. It's just one strand. So let's talk about that first and foremost, because you have 3 children, you're a father. And this is like also playing into the way you make, create, share your space, share your home with other artists too.
Yeah.
What has that like impacted in you as a artist, human?
It's made me a better person, man. Being a dad has made me a better person, because like, it sounds cliche, but I've just like, as a parent, like, you kind of see everyone as someone's child, you know? And then as I've got older and maybe some of the artists coming through are getting younger. There's naturally like a nurturing part of producing, which I really enjoy. But then when you're a dad and you're teaching the kids music as well, then that kind of turns up a bit. Yeah, the kids have given me like every reason to kind of just like really dig in, find my focus, and contribute good work. I want them to look back on my career and be proud of it. And I want to leave a platform for them to springboard off if they want to pursue their own careers in music, which looks quite likely, to be honest.
Yeah. Has it made you a better producer having to explain what you're doing to your children?
Yeah. And I've got to practice my scales because I make them practice scales every morning before breakfast. I don't make them. That's what they do before breakfast. They want to. But yeah, I've had to refresh on loads of stuff. So it's nice. I have to go back to the beginning, C major, and work up from there. So as they're learning, I'm refreshing some of my knowledge and picking up new knowledge at the same time. You know, I never learned how to read music as a kid. I had some lessons, but you know, I'm not educated in this way.
Yeah.
I'm making sure that my kids are. So I'm picking things up along the way, and it's kind of making me better.
What did they teach you through them being educated about music that you maybe missed when you were a child?
I mean, just doing the boring technique stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I never practiced 12 scales a day. I didn't. You know, my daughter's, she's 9 now, but she's been doing that since she was 6 or 7. So anything I ask them to do, I kind of need to be able to do it myself. And they've already overtaken me on sight reading, you know. Both my daughter and my son will open a book and play a piece, and I can't do that still now. Yeah.
And then there's another strand to the family are all those people that we, I guess, or you, I guess, our secondary family, Butterz, all this kind of stuff, met around the country, around the world, that have kind of reconnected with you as you've been sharing ideas and thoughts lately. What even sparked that in the first place?
I'd spent a long time away from Swindle at the front. This kind of started because someone said to me, you can't have a career in music if you're not doing social media. And I resented that so much. You know what I'm like? As soon as someone says, you can't do this, you can't do that, I just freak out. So I stopped posting, and I needed to prove to myself that I could. So I built my career around things that didn't require me to post all the time or have to feel like I have to sell something all the time. And then I got there, and I think, you know, one year I posted 3 or 4 times. Year after, a few more times. If I produce stuff I've released, I might share it. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, maybe this is it from here. And I kind of draw a line under the Swindle before and move on. But because I hadn't communicated that, it just felt like unfinished business, if that makes sense. And then so I come back to Instagram, and I'm posting, and everything's changed. There's this new algorithm, and it goes to new people first, and bloody blah. And I was struggling to like connect with people, or at least I felt like this is going nowhere. And quite shamefully, I asked ChatGPT, like, how do I reconnect with my audience? And it said, don't post anything longer than 12 seconds and hide the likes. It's a very shortened version, but that's basically what it said.
Okay, that's interesting.
And again, it just felt like that same advice I got before, and I just lost it. And then I just thought, if I'm gonna post something, I'm just gonna say exactly what's going on. And then I did, and then I could feel people popping up from over the years, and I was starting to connect with my audience again. I don't know how to say my audience, but connecting with the family again. And then I started using the word family because it is a family, man. We built that over years and years and years and years and years. Like, I feel like we grew up in front of them. People have been buying Swindle records since the 140 mixtape, or even since Mood Swings, or since Air Miles, or since No More Normal. Like, you've seen me grow, really. All those Facebook Jam videos. You see me go from like my mum's basement, move 5-6 different times, and then end up where I've ended up. So it's just important for me to just like connect with those people. And that's what I'm interested in. I just realized it's like, we're all posting on this thing to like try and get new followers or something, but I just want to talk to the ones I have. Like, new ones are welcome.
Who is there? Like, what makes up these people? Like, okay, there are people from all over the world, but what are they doing? Why do they want to speak to you still?
They're a part of this as much as we are, man. Like, we never played to people, man. We played like with them, for them. It was always a collective. Like, when we played on radio, there's interaction. It's like, it's those shout outs. When you hear radio and you go, oh, big up Sir Deuce, like, you know who that is. We sent them their records directly. We went to the shows, we shook their hands, we said hello. We met people, we know them. And they know us. So, you know, how can we like let go of that? To me, that's kind of crazy. And it's something that lots of people in later generations, they don't actually have that connection. Because say like Peace, Love and Music and the trilogy, like we sold most of those records directly.
Yeah.
It's like our handwriting on the mailer.
Yeah.
That took days sometimes, sitting there for a whole day, signing 300 vinyls in a day and posting it whilst on Facebook Live.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think we've really lost something in just having that direct communication. I just refuse to be separated from those people, man, because they put me here.
And those people, you know, for the most part, like, ended up being creators and producers and artists and all this other stuff.
Absolutely.
So, like, something that we kind of all recognized pretty early is that our audience or people that were coming to things were not just coming to dance. Like, they were also like kind of, I'm thinking about learning an instrument. I'm thinking about taking up DJing. I'm thinking about making beats. Or, can I draw this? And that's how we got the trilogy artwork done. All these people that were kind of magnetized to the work, they weren't, this other line of like a casual person.
He came to a show in Japan.
Yeah.
And then ended up doing artwork and videos for, you know, for a bunch of stuff. So you're really right there.
And do you, I guess, like in the next phase of the work, do you think, I mean, maybe this is something that we're just putting out there for the first time, but like we can harness, I guess, all of this kind of creative energy that we've kind of been part of for the last 10-something years, like all together at once, you know what I'm saying? Because it's crazy to kind of like this creative spark energy just disappear. It's quite ethereal.
The developing idea is, how do we bring the family together? Like the whole family. Like the whole lot. Some people know me for like the early mixtape stuff, grime, MC, you know, at the front stuff. Some people know me for this instrumental stuff. Some people know me for No More Normal New World. Some people know me because I produce Koji Radical. Like, how do we bring that all together and what does that sound like? That's interesting to me.
Yeah. So that's like the 20th year in music type of energy.
Yeah. Yeah, potentially. And it might be one last hurrah, or it might be the beginning of something. We don't know.
Yeah. I think about this a lot when people, I guess, like, want you to return to something. And I'm kind of allergic to that. You know what I mean? That feeling of going back, you know?
You've always been like, no, we can move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a defense mechanism more than, I think if we were doing something, it just, you know, bringing people together, it's like, it has to be new. Like, it has to feel new for some, but not to disregard our past, but to bring it forward and to move it into modern day and to let, you know, new people in and bring new people in, especially our, I guess, audience or people that are around now can go from 9 years old, Lola, upwards to the OGs that, you know, some of the people that you've been producing with, playing for, going to their shows, you know what I mean? People that you've respected. So we're kind of sitting in this middle ground as late 30-something. And I feel like this is like such a sick time for us.
I always say, like, I'm not old, but I'm at the end of young.
Yes. We're the oldest youngers and the youngest olders.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Something like that.
For sure.
And maybe there's a special kind of opportunity for us to kind of like bond generations of people in this place that we're at now. Because we might, I guess, if you don't take the chance that now, in this moment of time where you've got the energy, you just might lose that opportunity of connecting those two worlds.
Yeah. And something that's become really clear to me, like in the last week or two, actually, is how important that time was for other people, man. It's like, a lot of people, this is their first interaction with like going out, like for raving, it's like it's the first music they went and found for themselves and got into. Even just like little tunes that never got a name just ended up on, you know, in the middle of a set, and people still have those sets now and asking for those. We would never consider that all these years later that it would be so significant.
And all these names to tunes that have like deeper backstories that are probably just not at the forefront anymore. So like Air Miles has a story, Mood Swings has a story, Pineapple was my cat. Like, you know what I mean? Like, all these like little things that we remember for different reasons, and we can kind of reshare today as like, people are like, oh, okay, wow. Like, had no idea there was all this kind of lore behind all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I've been hiding messages in my albums, and just waiting for a time to like start picking them out.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to that. It's not yet. I shouldn't have said that.
Okay, and then I guess going forward, again, we're kind of at this, for I guess different ends of the spectrum, but we're in our middle phase. But like people start to think about legacy, and that means different things to different people. But that's something you spoke about from the beginning. From when I met you, you thought about what 40 years would look like in this space, where like, most people don't think beyond 1 or 2 or 3 at the most. Yeah. I guess beyond, making the songs, like what else are you thinking about in terms of legacy? You have this studio, people come in to visit you, but you've always had bigger ideas.
Yeah, we're going to expand on that. Like the dream is just to have a hub that supports people like who we were. A space where I want to help people release their records without exploiting them. That would be amazing, do you know? So that's what I'm working towards. That's the long term, and it always kind of has been, really, to be fair. Facility and ownership. Not just like, oh, we got to own everything, but I mean, to be able to just really like build a platform that is like just not untampered with, because we had that in Butterz actually, to a degree, where we were just kind of left to our own devices, really, and we're able to build what we built. So like, how do we take that to the next level? The next time I've been meeting artists the whole time, like when I met Purple, when I met Coach, when I met Nux, like the next time I meet someone in their early 20s, and I just really believe in them, rather than just make the music and hope they find a deal, I would like to be able to support them all the way. Joel Culpepper as well, I'm going to add to that list. I'd like to be able to support them through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because we got so much experience, man. It's not just producing records, it's not just DJing, it's navigating the industry, it's touring, it's finding the right agents, it's making connections across the world. There's so much. So I say to people, it's like, I can't tell you how to like make a number 1 hit in a day or make the sickest beat. Like, I'm not going to do hi-hat tutorials. But what I can do is like show people how to survive on their own terms for a long time, because that's what we've done. Yeah.
Survival in your own terms.
That's it.
Yeah, that is the dream, right? It's like when you strip it all back, is obviously making the things that you want to make, but it is finding a vessel or a route to continue creating in different forms.
Yeah.
I think that's historically been, harder for the producers, because they've usually not had a voice, or like they're kind of in the back, and not many people advocating for them.
Yeah.
But today, I guess with, you built your own platform, you have a voice as an artist now. It's like that being the standard of things going forward. And
I encourage so much producers, like, make an album. I tell bass players, yo, you're sick, make an album. Marcus Miller did, why not?
Yep.
It's like, just make the record. It's the only way to do it. Once you have an avenue for your own output, then you attract the kind of work that you want as a producer. And I've been fortunate in that, as a producer, I don't necessarily just have to work on everything that is put in front of me, because I have Swindle. I have my own thing to pursue. I have means to create and have output without necessarily, and I can just be more selective, and really, when I do work with a new artist, like I want to do the whole record. I want to see the whole thing through.
I guess the next phase of this kind of stuff is like, is it still gonna be just based here? Like, is it like a London thing? Like, you obviously you don't live in London anymore.
I've left the city.
But is it still the center of that culture to you?
Yeah, where the UK is concerned, 100%. 100%. I'm a Londoner living outside London. Man.
Okay, so okay.
And even my kids feel like Londoners. We come up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? I bring the kids up. You know, my son will ride his ped on the estate on the green near me. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, ped. I meant quad. My son doesn't ride a ped. He's only 6. But the point I'm making is that we're so fortunate to come from here, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's just few places in the world where so many things just collide. Like, I don't know under what other circumstances could birth jungle, grime, garage, all these amazing genres. And you see it in Birmingham as well, and you see it in these, you know, we should pick up the other cities as well, 100%. Sheffield, baseline.
Yep.
But there's something unique about the UK. Like, I remember like being in Texas, and I got a good friend there that I've, you know, known for years after going there and playing shows. And I showed him EastEnders once. And do you know what he said to me? He was like, "Bro, there's black people and white people in the same program." Because he was like Patrick Truman and like whatever. Like, it blew his mind. And I just thought, you know, we do that here.
Yeah.
You know, we rub up against it. Like, where else could Original Nutter get made? Like,
No
UK
way.
Apache,
No way.
like dub bassline, classic reggae bassline, jungle breaks.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Who are some people that have been inspiring you recently? Because you've been sharing stuff. You've been, I guess, putting me onto new artists, new people making stuff on the internet. Do you want to shout out some people?
There's just like this new wave of like jazzy grime, and I'm gonna big up Oreglo.
Yes.
I'm gonna big up Names Bliss. But there's some producers around that camp. Obviously, for me,
is there Bex Blue?
Yes.
Afro Surrealist. Maybe.
Yeah.
There's
another guy, and I just hit him up and left him a voice note the other day.
Okay, all right.
I just be hitting him up.
Yeah.
Like, some people, like, not you guys, but like, sometimes I feel like people are creating a style that they don't know that I had played a part in. Kind of.
Yeah, like they found their way to something that you're.
Oh, maybe it was a part of the beginning of.
Yes.
In 2007, jazz and grime together, it wasn't necessarily a thing.
No.
You know, and my MO was always to kind of bring these things in, more with funk at the beginning and then later with jazz. So to see where that is at now was like always my dream.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah. So yeah, those guys massively inspiring, man.
Sick. And I'll tell a quick story of how I found you in the first place. I was listening to Boy Better Know set, and it's called like Microphone Champion. So it's like Skepta, JME, Frisco, Jammer, DJ Maximum playing, and Maximum played a remix of Zumpy Hunter by Terra Danger.
Yeah.
And it's Swindle in the remix, and it just stuck in my head. And then eventually when I met or started talking to Terra Danger, I was like, what is this? What is a Swindle remix? Is that you? Like, just a Swindle remix. That was the first time I heard the name. And then I was like, put me in contact with this person.
Yeah.
I just know that meeting him, my like life will change somehow. It just felt like so different to everything that was out there. And there's these people that have been like forks in my life, you know what I'm saying? And you're one of them. So like, Skilliam was at university. I told my ex-girlfriend at the time, I was like, Skilliam is, meeting Skilliam, I was like, we're going to create something great together. So that was like before Butterz.
Yeah.
Weird one. She was kind of like, okay, that's a strange thing to say.
Yeah.
And that happened. And then, I had the same thing with the Zumpy Hunter remix feeling. I was like, there's something here that's bigger. And I remember meeting you, it's like February 2009 at Rents.
Yeah.
And I was like, excited, but not trying to be weird.
Yeah.
And then same thing with later
offered
on.
me a beer, I remember.
Yeah, you were like, you drink beer?
Yeah.
What's going on here? And then same with Royal T as well. Like, same, just he was like my first like out of London friend.
Yeah.
Made me understand the UK and like England a bit more. Then Flava later on, just like again widened my like aperture in terms of a lot of things. And it's like, again, all of this like, I guess, family, a circle of people that just started to like make me think bigger than maybe the point of view that I came from. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
all being massive influences in the work. So you're the first one of that crew, and many others obviously that have influenced me heavily, that have joined me on the podcast and kind of reconnecting the square back to Butterz. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm going to do this conversation with the others over the next...
I can't wait to see them, man.
Yeah.
And just going back to Terra there, man, like just today, as I was walking down the road, I just recorded a little video that I'm going to post at some point, because as we're going back over the journey, I think it's really important to point at that moment that Terra Danger, like he introduced me to you, which is massive. But he introduced me to so many people. He introduced me to East London.
Yep.
I live miles and miles away. And I found myself at One Extra, and he came to me and was like, "You're Swindle. You're going to remix my biggest song right now, Zumpy Hunter. This is Spyro. This is the double.
Yeah.
This is Aftershock. Do you want them on your mixtape?" Such a catalyst. It's like the way Terra plugged me in there and what it's meant for us, it's just massive, man.
Exactly. So this, I guess, this kind of generosity that people maybe don't associate with grime or these kind of scenes, it's there and has been there, and it's something that we try to continue. So that was my welcome into the grime scene also. You know what I'm saying? So Terra Danger was that person. Like, and again, the bridge to Hyperdub, to cargo distribution. Cargo distribution ends up distributing Butterz. Butterz starts with Terra Danger 001. And we go on to do what we do. So it's like these people that didn't ask for anything back. You know, we've tried to be that same
Who would
thing.
do that today? Meet someone, say, I see something in you. Here's my music to put out on your label that doesn't exist yet.
I don't know.
Like today.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah,
is a new artist gonna like? Who today would do that?
What producer that is established would take a phone call from someone that's never worked in the music business, is at university, that is interested in starting a record label, make the music for them, explain the process over the phone, and then give me the stems to put it on the internet and let other people remix them. It was a special time for sure, and a special kind of openness and mind to even let that happen. And again, the sparks that flowed afterwards. So it is
it's catalyst for
for sure. These things are super rare, and in our own ways, I feel like we've all tried to continue that. You know what I mean? So I've seen you do that with all of your production and the way you open up your home, your studio, your resources, the giving away of things and the time and energy that you spend with other producers and artists. I've seen Skilliam do that in his own way, opening up his knowledge and time and generosity. Royalty put me onto so many artists like 5 years before they even blew up. You know what I mean?
Do you remember when I sent you Stormzy?
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. You know what's funny about the I remember these conversations, and I was like, "You're a Stormzy guy, and I was a novelist guy."
Right.
And I was like, "Oh, novelist, he's producing, man. He's gonna have the new sound." And you were like, "But Stormzy's got this like charisma and presentation. He's from Croydon." And you were like, boom.
I see him riding his bike round the IKEA car park. I used to play, like, when that was new, Valley Park. If you're from Croydon, you will know. When Valley Park was new, I lived, like, bike riding distance from there.
Okay.
And that was our playground.
Man.
And, like, we so separated from grime, actually, there. Dubstep was happening, and I knew people from the shop, from Big Apple, putting my CD in there. But still so far. There wasn't lots of MCs. Nole was local, and that was one of my first collaborations. But it just felt so far away from everything. And it's just to see MCs coming through. Krept and Conan had done their thing, but Stormzy was doing it with grime. And it was like, I saw that video early, man, and I remember saying to you and be like, I think,
yeah, this guy's hot.
This guy's sick. Yeah, and then boom.
We had I think you called me about it once, and I hadn't seen it, and then once there was one. It was like maybe there was like a freestyle before the first Wicked Scam Man where he's just barring and it's just a sick video. And then he does the Wicked Scam Man 1, I think, or something. And then that's like the first one where people were like, why don't know?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, this is it. And I was still like, yeah. I mean, like in different ways, like I feel like we're both right. Like Novelist like did his thing and continues to.
Yeah.
And they were just like the young G's coming through.
Novelist is heading towards legend. Well, he is a legend and still so young.
It's still so young.
He was too young to be in the club.
Yeah.
I remember that. Like, I'll come in for, maybe it was Fabric, and he was like, yeah, I'm not even old enough to be in here.
yeah.
He was performing with us. We always had so much love for Novelist, man. What an energy, man.
That show, we did Fabric, and Wiley was a special guest. Yeah. And people were like, oh, is he going to turn up? I get there and Wiley's already there.
Yeah.
And I was like, like, no problem.
Yeah.
And then I thought, oh, actually, he's here, so let's just try and get him on stage early, just to make sure he doesn't leave. Yeah. So, and then he went on stage with Wiley for the first time. So they were barring on set together, which was sick. And then the special guest was Kano.
I remember this. And then they shot the video.
They shot the Flava D video. And in that backstage area, there was like, I guess all of the kind of Butterz, like me, you, Will, Rolty, Flava D, all this kind of crew. Then there was Jamie, because he came out to do the Flava D song, Jamal Edwards, there, who would never let me put him on guest list. And he'd always buy a ticket and buy the t-shirts.
Yeah.
And then, Wiley in that corner, DK Designs, James Gould. That's all these different people that help, like, you know, build these things. And when I look back on some of those pictures from that time, there's a picture pointing outwards, and the person on the episode before this is a producer Hagen.
Okay.
Front row.
Yeah.
I'm like, look at that. That's like some mad full circle.
Yeah. Lots of people have told me, like when I first met Mansour Brown, he was like, oh, I saw you at Hammersmith Apollo, because I opened for Snarky Puppy. I was like, yeah. Seen you there, and I'm just like, It's funny how I met Odile, and he was like, I used to watch your Beat This episode when I was da-da-da-da-da. And I was just like, wow. Yeah, you don't realise it's like we used to, when I first got in touch with like Ronnie Size or Goldie.
Yeah, it was mad.
Mad for me, man. That was massive for me. And then you become part of the thing and playing the same shows and sharing stages, and then you don't realise you're doing that for someone else. Like, if you're in your 20s now making music, you're doing that for someone else. 100%. And then in years to come, someone's going to say, I listened to you when I was in school. And you're going to feel old, but you'll feel good.
And again, if we pushing through, I guess, and wrapping up this conversation into this next generation, people won't even believe the things that happened before. So I have this now where that generation is like so far back now that people are like, you did grime? Like what? That's just great. You must have that working with like Tomorrow's Warriors or something.
Yeah.
Oh, you can do jazz.
Someone asked me if I had music out today.
There you go.
Yeah. I was like, yeah.
So you have to reintroduce and say like, hey, actually, here's the tunes.
Yeah. It's it's interesting. It's also nice to have a conversation with people when they don't know.
Yes, 100%.
Because there's it's like a levelness.
Yeah.
There's no one's above or ahead or behind. It's just like, hi, how are you? I do music too.
Yeah.
I'm kind of cool with that.
It's the international language, man.
Yeah, exactly. This is it.
Thank you, bruv. It's good to catch up as always, man.
Yeah.
First ever podcast, man.
My first ever podcast. Do you think I'll get cancelled for anything I said?